We are live. Welcome back to the RINO Podcast, episode 71. Kaitlin, how are you this fine evening?
I am very good, Jeff. I swam. Well, I talked about this on the other one. I swam tonight, which felt really good because swimming feels really good.
Exercise is key. Exercise is a good thing. You need to engage in it at least 5 times a week, I'd say. Some form of exercise, even if it's for 20 minutes or something like that. And it brings you peace, calms your body and your mind, gets the excess energy out of you. I can tell you one thing. The people in this video that we're about to watch need to exercise a little bit more. This is, I guess we're going to dive right in here. Over the weekend, some people have covered this. Some local podcasts I've seen have covered this. The squad was having a get-together in Sommerville. Which
is also one of the most lefty places in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's up there with Cambridge.
Well, they're right next to each other, so
they are right next to each other. It's right near Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was an event for Ayanna Pressley, so Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and AOC were all there for her. And the Republican candidate running against Ayanna Pressley in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District is Donnie Palmer. Donnie is technically a pro boxer, not a particularly good one. And, he was a dick to Jacqueline at convention, so I'm not a fan. If you conduct yourself like an asshole to women, I'm not going to be cool with that. I probably agree with a bunch of his issues. He's gotten in trouble for posting some anti-Asian stuff and calling Michelle Wu a communist. Michelle Wu's not the best, but I don't know that she's a communist. Believe me, there's plenty of communists out there that openly admit to it. So he was doing
in Massachusetts. I'm sure there's plenty of communists around.
Yeah. So anyway, he was doing a standout. I mean, I don't even want to call it a protest because you're not protesting. You're just maybe is a demonstration the same as a protest? But he was doing a standout at the event. And from what I can tell from the blurbs on some of the blogs that I've seen, the Ayanna Pressley or squad supporters, I'm going to say supporters because Frank Phillips in the Globe probably got it wrong because he said squad security. And this is an out, not official security that Ayanna Pressley uses tax dollars to pay for while she wants to defund the police. So this was actually maybe this could be somebody if a real reporter wanted to peel away at it, they could probably do that. They sent 4, I'll call them goons, to intimidate and get in the face of Donnie Palmer, and apparently they beat up, and it looked pretty bad, a guy who's gay. I don't know if it was because he's gay. He might just happen to be gay. Here's the problem with these videos. I don't know what was said beforehand, but I'm going to say this unequivocally. All of the clown show of the Mass GOP candidates out there that are in this cycle for statewide office or congressional, whatever, I can call them that. As soon as the other side, and I have a strong suspicion, because I don't have video proof or evidence of this, but I just suspect that the other side started the violence because that's what they do. So when that happens, when that goes, I'm always going to have their back, no matter how nutty they are, because you cannot bring it to that level. You cannot start throwing punches.
No, I mean, the injuries that I saw they're not great. I mean. So
let me play this clip real quick. This is off of Donnie Palmer's Instagram. Not the best technique here. can't tell who's in that scrum. Somebody said Jim. And then it kind of cuts to the. In a second, it's going to cut to an individual who was on the ground over in about 20 seconds.
Sean, you good? Sean, are you okay? Holy fucking shit, bro. Holy fucking shit.
So he's pretty marked up here.
Holy fucking shit, bro.
He's pretty bloody on that. Has some bad marks on his face.
Yeah,
it's a serious fight. It's a serious fight. Which, like, it's even funny. I always tell people you should learn how to fight. But if everybody learns how to fight, then it'd be tougher to fight the people who are fighting. Let me say this. I would bet a large sum of money that the goons from, the Democratic side started this fight. Even if words were exchanged, whatever, it's just words. As soon as you start throwing punches, it goes to a whole nother level. And I'm going to, regardless of how kooky they are, I'm going to have their back of Republicans on that no matter what. And you have, even when that scumbag went to Mass GOP offices, as much as as many issues as we have with the chairman, as I have with the chairman, you
don't have the right to disagree over politics and put people in danger over that, no matter what. And we live in a state where the left is allowed to do that, get away, and then there's no eye turning at it. I don't think that's healthy at all. I don't think that that's good. And
I have my problem with this is this is going to get brushed aside, because it is one side that does this 95% of the time, because they accept it. They believe in it. Michael Capuano, who Ayanna Pressley took the seat that he was in, used to say blood in the streets. Maxine Waters, get in their faces. This is not new. They want this to happen. They want to intimidate you. They turned a blind eye to Antifa. People are like, oh, the riots on January 6th after the 2020 election. Like, they conveniently forget the riots of 2017 and Antifa destroying Washington, D.C. And then
you mean on Inauguration Day when Trump was inaugurated, and how Antifa, that entire group, just like destroyed parts of DC, because Trump was inaugurated. Like,
the left regularly encourages and supports political violence. This is what they do. And I heard Jim Lyons was there. I don't think he was in that video. Look, here's the thing where I'll get on my fellow Republicans for this. It's like, oh, well, just the whole thing is embarrassing. Well, and nobody should be doing that. And, oh, God, this is so awful. Well, okay, yeah. But unless a Republican threw the first punch, and that matters, it actually really matters, no, you don't get to rise to the level of violence. They're wrong. And it's full stop. They're wrong.
Yeah. That's kind of, that's where I'm at. Like, I denounce rioting, because I don't think that is what you should be doing in civil discourse at all. I don't think that's where we are as a country, or should be. And so, that's the thing. I denounce the riots of 2020, denounce the riots of January 6th. That's the thing. That's my position on all of this. I think
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think that this should ever have escalated to violence. I think that Mass GOP is not taken seriously. So even if they have the correct position here, because of the way that they're not taken seriously, this is not taken seriously. And
right.
so why? That's I guess my ultimate position here. Like yes, I'm concerned that this fight happened, but at the same time, it's like our party is in such like utter disrepair that like you're not being taken seriously. And yes, that happened, but you're not being taken seriously because you don't take the job seriously. So no one takes you seriously.
Well, there should be a full, like the Boston PD, Sommerville PD, should launch a full investigation. I understand. I think 2 individuals were arrested, probably the individuals that were in this video. I don't know if charges will be filed. We have DAs now that if it's in Suffolk County, they're not prosecuting certain crimes. And if this was, deemed politically okay, it'll be brushed aside. And it shouldn't be. And the unfortunate reality is, regardless of what state the Mass GOP is in, this should be prosecuted fully. And,
I do agree with that. I mean, like, I'm not saying that that should not happen. My ultimate position here is that people are not taking this seriously because the leaders of our state party don't take themselves seriously. And in order for you, like, that's
no, I agree that you're right that that's the lay of the land, but it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It should be treated as such. But here's the other thing. This is why it's unserious. Serious what happened, but the unseriousness of the candidates involved, because real candidates would be out at, at a town event, shaking hands and kissing babies and trying to earn votes. You're literally going to go outside to troll Ayanna Pressley with a crowd of her supporters. You're not going to get a single vote, which it should be about winning elections. A political party literally only exists to do one thing, and that's win elections. Okay, if you're not doing that, if you're going out and you're trolling people, you're trolling the squad. Okay, I mean, is this good press? Is all press good press? I don't know that this is the case. The play here is not smart. No, it doesn't excuse anything that happened that they did. I'm not saying that, but like, you should be out at like block parties and in your district earning votes. You're not going to earn votes going to your opponent's events. Like there's 6 weeks left in an election. Now, granted, I'm telling this to the group they don't care. They know they're not going to win. They're going out for like trying to get the hits and the views on Instagram and likes on Twitter, which is where we're at, right? Unseriousness. So, this will probably be it through November.
And the September state committee meeting happened, right?
I don't think they had quorum. I don't think they could have because
they only had less than 30, didn't they?
Definitely less than half. You need 40 is half. You need more than that to hold a quorum, or I don't know. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but regardless, this is just nonsense. And Democrats are going to sweep the board for all statewide offices and all congressional races and a lot of local races, because the chairman's like, what's that?
Yeah. So guys, when you talk about state parties, it is a top-down approach in being able to win, because the top person, who is the chair, has to be able to support the party and allow it to function in a healthy way, so we win elections. That means having people who support them, and then also being able to bring in money so we can have it, quote unquote, trickle down into campaigns and support. Like, really, the organizational makeup of this is not difficult. If anybody who has been involved in state politics for 5 minutes can understand this, Mass GOP.
Yeah. Well, this will continue for the foreseeable future.
So do you think after midterms, like, let's say it's apocalyptic, we know that it's going to be bad.
It'll only be bad locally. I think we're going to do very well nationally.
Okay, no, I'm talking about local. I'm not talking.
Okay,
the national is my hope. God, that's my one, the only hope. Let's say it's not local. Like, at what point after that point do we get somebody that's like, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring to be state chair?
Very soon. Let me say this. There's just a couple things have to happen, or not happen, and I'll be considering that to get into the race for chair. But I'm not thinking about that.
There's state committee in order for that to happen.
No, you can just run. You don't have to be a member. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know. There's a lot of factors at play, right? So what will happen if we do well in the midterms nationally? We're going to need a strong party across the board. There will be downward pressure from the powers that be to straighten out the state parties for fundraising purposes mostly. And when that takes place, I don't know, maybe Jim Lyons will want to run again. He could do that. Maybe somebody else will run. Or maybe nobody will run. I mean, here's the thing. It's going to be a thankless job. It's going to be nearly friggin' impossible to do. You're going to have to raise a ton of money.
You're going to have to build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to build it from the ground up. Then you're going to have to basically burn everything to the ground and completely change it. Like, your job is this massive lift. I can't even imagine that person who's coming into this, right? Like, you're going to have no funds. You're going to have to completely change messaging. You're going to have to be bringing back the old donors, talking to them and asking them to donate money. I mean, like, your strategy is going to have to be completely different. You're going to have arrows thrown at the back of you by all these online Facebook groups that are nuts. Like, it's
right.
Going to be,
which is why do you even say, is it worth doing? Right.
You're going to need balls of steel. Like,
that's not the problem. I mean, look, the haters, fuck the haters, whatever that's not even, it's just a question of, is it even possible? Like, will the donors show up? Will the donors cut checks? Because it's in such
will they come back?
And the answer to that is, I don't know. Like, and the other thing is, you're going to have people who don't care. Like, they like losing, right? Like, look, I'm going to talk. Here's the thing. It's very simple. It's like my team, your team kind of thing.
And Mass GOP cares more about ideological purity than they do.
No, it's not even about that. I'm telling you, it's not about that. It's not about ideology. It's us versus them. Jim Lyons is just on their team, and it doesn't matter that he's doing a bad job. It doesn't matter. They go, well, you don't like him, right? Well, he likes me and I like him, and you're not him, so I'm not going to vote for you. Like, the results don't matter. It's just that. It's a question of numbers. I don't know how many state committee members haven't been seated because it doesn't advantage Jim politically. I think there's a handful that would make it over the 40 threshold. And then it's just like, do you get other clown show people running for chair who would wind up being just as bad as Jim? I don't know. And have you heard
any rumors?
No, I actually haven't. I have not.
Gotta wait till the RTC Christmas parties.
Yes. The thing is, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not doing anything about it, only because, and other than talking to you and the audience, because I got to see what happens in November, and I'm going to work on doing what I can for November. That's first and foremost. A lot of things have to come to play. It's a thankless job. You're just you catch unending shit. And there's nobody at the top of the ticket in the corner office that you can fundraise off of. So you got to build it completely on your own. So I don't know. I mean, I said I'm going to do it, but then I strongly consider it, but then I'd just be like, man, screw it. It's not worth it to deal with people who are be like, not taking it seriously themselves.
Right.
Next up, bippity boppity, boopity bippity. I'm going to play a clip from today that has...
Potrei farne tante altre di queste domande. A monte c'è quella che ci facciamo
Okay,
oggi,
wait.
perché la
I gotta
famiglia
say
è un
something.
nemico.
Sorry. Kaitlin, do you want to... Have you seen this clip?
Is this the one that went around today where
Yeah.
she was talking about, I have an identity as a mother?
Yes. I don't know if it's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. I don't want to...
Yeah. She has an identity as a mother and all this other stuff. She's not person X. She's not gender X. She's not whatever. She's talking about identity. I mean, here's my thing on Italian politics. I have no idea what the fuck happens in Italian politics because it's a lot of screaming and coalitions that don't make sense. Okay. This is how Italian politics has been since I was in college. I took an EU class in college, because I considered minoring in poli-sci, which was stupid because political science is fucking stupid.
Yes, it is.
I have a degree in history, so you had to get like 2 social sciences. I actually was considering a few more credits to just get the minor in poli-sci. I didn't do it because that shit costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I took a class in the EU. It was actually a pretty good class, and the professor was awesome. And I remember actually I wrote a paper on, at the time there was a lot of talk about Britain potentially moving away from the EU, and I said they're going to do it because, and this was back in 2011. I just took a chance on it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to argue it. They never changed over their currency.
Mm-hmm.
The Brits were never truly European. They really only care about economics and trade. And is that a big enough argument to change your complete culture? It was basically a lot of that. Brexit happens. So anyway, Italian politics has never made very much sense to me because a lot of their coalitions are weird. Like the 5-star movement that has been around recently, they're very hardcore anti-immigration, but they're hardcore environmentalists, which is kind of nuts to me because that is post-ideology political party based on just issues. And so it's and that's kind of how some of their political parties are and how their coalitions are. So a lot of their politics is very localized, and I don't follow Italian politics closely enough to really be able to jump in and understand what's going on. But I did follow this, the election results. This political party, they won up and down. They won Rome, which was weird because Rome has a mayor that's center left.
The right in Europe is somewhat comparable to the right in America. It's different. Their version of conservatism, call it small c conservatism, is very blood and soil based, right? To conserve the culture, not conserve the institution. We're conserving, as conservatives here, we're conserving the Constitution of the United States. That is our culture. That's we were created. We were thought up. They're not thought up. They evolved. They've evolved over time. So you look at Giorgia Meloni, and she is right because what she's talking about is the other side of it, right? So you look at globalists and the globalists. I'm not going to do an Alex Stein because I don't like that guy, but there is a movement, right, to erase national identity. There is a movement.
You have to say Alex Stein's video where he went after Eric Swalwell was one of the funniest things.
I mean, yeah, he can hit the mark, but his material just is not that good.
It's kind of boring. But anyway, in Italy, one of the things is that we see these ups and downs of kind of like the European left come back. It's not as strong. We are seeing reactionary movements within Europe. Okay, when the Syrian civil war happened, you see this mass migration of people from the Middle East come into Europe, and you see them come into Germany. You see the rise of the far right within Germany. You see the right-wing parties win in Austria. I believe they won in Italy too. I don't remember that one. I don't follow that one as much because Italy has its economy has been stagnated for so long. It's not really, again, I'm not huge on it. You know, and Macron, for all of his faults, is not, he used to be a socialist, but he is center, right? So he's not, I don't know if I would automatically call him a liberal, but he's like anti-unions. Like, so it's strange.
It's very weird. It does not line up to our politics exactly. You know, they believe in a big government and a big welfare state. Very often they just want the welfare state for them. But they also want a growing economy, and they don't get the fact that you can't have a really growing economy if you raise taxes and have a massive welfare state. That just like it's counted. So that tension is always there.
And stuff like it's very weird. So like, after she won, her political party won. American commentators had a huge meltdown. So like, all I heard is that she's far right and fascist. So apparently her political party, and again, I am not knowledgeable in this. I've only done like light research, like afterward is the successor to Benito Mussolini's political party in Italy. Yeah. That could be true. I'm not quite certain. But then again, the Democratic Party of the United States has some really shady history in itself. So I'm not sure whether liberals want to be throwing glass houses on that comparison.
Yeah, and the biggest nonsense you hear right now, and you see it here, but you also see it in Europe, is they talk about saving democracy, saving democracy, saving democracy. And here the Italians voted for what they wanted. And they go, oh, no. We didn't mean that kind of democracy. We mean the kind of democracy where we always win. And you're seeing that in the United States, and you're seeing that in Europe now. It's just like, well, we're going to the Brexit. The people of Great Britain voted for Brexit, and they tried to stop it, and they were like, no, you don't know. I'm sorry, wait. I know we wanted you to vote on things.
They wanted a second referendum.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, like you don't get a second referendum because you got the first one, quote unquote, wrong.
Right.
I mean, like, and again, like the EU, the president of the EU Commission, her name is Ursula von der Leyen. I'm going to butcher this. Leyen. She used to be, I think, she's a member of CDU. Everyone on Twitter knows I'm not a huge fan of Germany right now. I haven't been for a long time because I think that their arrogance is just so. The reason why they're having all these like awful problems in their country is because of their arrogance. It is completely their fault. But she used to be, I think, the defense minister for. Let me look this up. The defense minister for. She was Minister of Defense for the CDU under Angela Merkel, and Angela Merkel I also just severely hate. She came out saying that they're going to use the same type of sanctions that they used on Poland, which were bullshit, on Italy over this democratic result. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like there's
it does not help itself here. Okay, it is a political experiment where it's trying to put the federal structure of the United States onto Europe. These are 1,000-year-old cultures that are now nations, and they are trying to put this federal stamp on it through the EU, quote unquote. Like it's like a United States of Europe. You see Britain break away. How much longer do these other states either factionalize between like Eastern and Western Europe? Okay. Because we see Eastern Europe taking a lot of the brunt of what's happening in Ukraine, and Germany not picking up the slack, even though it's the largest economy in Western Europe and pretty much owns the EU. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. They talked about, that Ursula talked about basically retaliating. Right, so like they didn't.
It's retaliating,
but retaliating. But here's the thing: it's like the Italians didn't do anything yet. A different party got elected. They didn't get elected and then like start to, I don't know.
I mean, this just feeds more populism.
Right. I
think moves like this and even statements like this make populism worse. That's all they do.
When you come out and automatically say you're going to retaliate based on an election result, not on what the government of Italy does. Like you could, like if the government in Italy decided to do something kooky with their bonds or whatever, I don't know, spending, something that where the EU would be like, no, we can't do that. We're not going to let you, and we'll retaliate. But this is just a straight election result. And she's like, we're going to retaliate against the election result. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
I mean, imagine saying we were like the United States was in some type of pact between like Canada and Europe, and like Justin Trudeau is like, we're going to put sanctions on the United States because of their democratic election result. That's fucking crazy.
Well,
like
I think he's stupid enough to he's stupid enough to do that with his own country. I mean, Trudeau's awful.
Trudeau must go completely support.
Yeah,
he support that movement.
So next up is a clip we got into a little bit on the Patreon episode that I'm going to play, and this is what I'm going to call it right now. Dr. Oz is going to beat Fetterman, and this is why. And I will get into it. I'm going to play the whole thing.
How do you feel about dual citizenship with other countries, especially being a civil servant, as you would be as a senator?
Thank you for asking the question. The reason this is coming up is because of my opponent making a big deal about the fact that I was born in this country, but my father and mother, as I mentioned, were Turkish immigrants. So by Turkish law, you're allowed to keep your Turkish citizenship, which I've kept for only one reason. My mom has Alzheimer's. Ben knows a lot about that ailment. It's a horrible disease. 6 million Americans are afflicted by it. My mom lives in Turkey with it. And you lose your loved ones twice. You lose them when they forget you, and then you lose them when you lose them. My one sister has mental health issues, and so I have a restraining order against her in Turkey. This is a lot of dirty underwear, but it's the reality, and I'm pretty transparent about who I am. So I maintain my Turkish citizenship so I have custodial control over her health care. And I would compromise that if I gave it up. However, I've agreed, because this is a distraction, that if I'm elected, if I'm honored to allowed to be serving you, that I will give up my Turkish citizenship before I would have served in the Senate. But I know I shouldn't have to, and to answer your question, there is no issue. There have been other senators who are dual citizens. Ted Cruz was a dual citizen. But I don't want there to be a distraction about this. I know I shouldn't have to, and I can love my mom and I can love my country at the same time. But this is politics, and this issue has come up, and I don't want it to be in the back of anyone's mind, well-meaning or not. And so I've already made that commitment. We've found ways with my family to address this.
That is what made him successful. That is what he's likable. Fetterman's a slob who just keeps saying New Jersey over and over again.
New Jersey.
You forget about it. Forget about his health issues. Forget about all that. Dr. Oz is likable, smart, intelligent, successful, can explain what his positions are on the variety of issues, and he's going to be better than Fetterman. And that right there is why he was a big TV star. Because he just explained what was going on. It seems perfectly reasonable. I'm assuming it's true. Seems like a good reason. Let me tell you something. If the people of Pennsylvania want Fetterman over that, screw them. Like screw Pennsylvania if they're gonna vote that way. Because whatever. Okay, Trump endorsed Dr. Oz. Trump endorsed Dr. Oz because Dr. Oz was famous. Okay. We freeze up a little bit. Crap.
This goes.
All right. Here we go. We're back to being.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said your internet's been a little spotty today.
Yeah, no, it's been we're back. But he's likable. Dr. Oz is likable. More explanations like that, getting out there, hitting the campaign trail, talk about what you think about inflation, talk about what you think about the economy, talk about gas prices, your energy policy. He's a smart guy. He can explain his energy policy. Does he want more nuclear? He should. Does he want more, restrictions lifted on fossil fuels? Yes, he should. Whatever.
I just feel like Fetterman just comes out and is like, "Oh my God, Dr. Oz, New Jersey," all the time. Like it's not.
That is, yeah.
And his like complete some of his positions are like way out there, like the decriminalization of all drugs.
Oh,
like
and
I'm
the letting
sorry.
people
I can understand weed to an extent, but like heavy narcotics is like a hard no for me.
Well, all you have to, if you're Dr. Oz, you take the clip of Fetterman saying we should let people out of prison, and you go, look, I'm Dr. Oz, and no, we shouldn't do that. Prisoners should be are in the prison for and just say it as calmly as you did in that video. Explain to people why. No, they're criminals. They should be in there until they've served their sentence. And I support putting criminals in jail. You know what a revolutionary concept. Like just go out there and be not him.
Just be normal.
Yeah, and you'll be fine. This is kind of a low bar to clear. So, that ad right there that somebody produced, and by the way, not from the Oz campaign. So I don't know who the Twitter account is. Sultan for Oz, 208,000 views, but. You know, they should pay that guy a couple bucks and have him start working for him, raise some money, get those ads on TV. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that will help let Pennsylvania know that, like, oh, okay, you know, he's normal, and just he's gonna vote for the things that are gonna help their lives out.
Right.
So I think he's probably turned a corner here.
Yeah, the polling is not going in Fetterman's favor at all. And this is a critical time. Like the last month is very critical. And so if he collapses, then this is what happened.
If you're in late September, you want to be inching closer. And
if it's late September and you're only 3 ahead and the margin of error is like 4, you are not having a good polling.
Right. And I think that's going to, Fetterman will start to sink and Oz will start to rise in that. The rest of the country, I don't know about as far as Senate goes, but I think House races, I think we're going to do much better than people were saying a couple weeks ago. Locally, that'll suck. But nationally, it'll be better. And what are the other, aside from Dr. Oz, I got to look more at Herschel Walker before I can say I'm going to pick Herschel on that one. And got to look more at Blake Masters. What's the numbers on Blake Masters? Is he just, let me actually pull
Not good.
Yeah. He's got some work to do.
I'm actually pretty comfortable with Herschel Walker right now. His polling has been consistent. Okay. Warnock is not as strong as an incumbent as we thought. And Stacey Abrams is just, her campaign is completely collapsed this time around.
Well, she was a clown show anyway. They should not have nominated her.
Well, I do have to say, okay, like after the 2020 election, she worked her ass off on a get out the vote campaign. And that's how Ossoff and Warnock won. Okay. But this time around, not the same thing. You want to know why? Inflation sucks. So does high gas prices. And it sucks in Georgia.
All right.
I wish in Massachusetts we could think like this. But no. It's
going to take, it'll be part of the earlier part of the episode, hearkening back to that we had to, we have to rebuild the GOP and, basically change minds for 5 to 10 years to get some semblance of normalcy. All right. Looks like we had to stop and restart on the live stream, but the full episode will be up on YouTube uninterrupted. I'll get that up soon. Go on over to patreon.com/RINOPod. Only $1 a month for extra bonus content. We always appreciate our patrons. And I guess, Kaitlin, we will talk to everybody next time.
Yes.
All right. Until next time, folks, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.